Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Cobra Trading here for TCP Media, and normally I don't come on and do an intro or anything before I do an analysis video. However, today I wanted to come on and just give everybody on Twitter just a real big shout out for all of the love and support that you guys continue to give us, and to all of our Discord members through sticking with us through some changes that we've been going through the past week. And we really appreciate it. We really appreciate you guys, and I'm extremely excited to start producing more content for everybody and for our Discord members, all the special content that they're going to be receiving. I'm really excited about all of this, and it may not seem like it. I'm a little still under the weather. I've been sick the past couple days as well, so excuse me if I sound like congested and stuff. I do apologize, but I really just wanted to come on and do a Bitcoin analysis, which I'm going to continue to do about once a week, as well as analysis for altcoins, which I'm going to try and stick within like the top, I don't know, like the top 10 or 20 range, unless some of our Discord members have, a special coin or asset that they would like analyzed or something by request. So without further ado, thank you again for everybody for the love and support for me and honestly crypto and TCP Media, and for the Rumor Magazine and everything, which this month our edition's coming out on September 15th. That's normally when we release the issue every month, and from here on out the issues are going to be completely free for you guys, for all of Twitter, anybody who wants it, friends, family. And this is going to be a really good issue, so I'm really looking forward to that. We got a lot of things going on and a lot of things planned for the future, so we're just really excited to start producing more and more content and better stuff to help provide you guys with the best content possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Bitcoin and just kind of get a better understanding for where we've been and where we are right now, and I'm going to give you a better understanding of where we may be heading. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so here we are on Bitcoin, and what I want to do first, and I think that I'm going to do this at the start of most of my Bitcoin analysis videos, because I'm going to be doing these once a week. Bitcoin is the main asset, and there's really no need to go ahead and start getting into super tiny detail of what's happening every hour. I will go down to low time frames to kind of get a better understanding of exactly where we are in the moment. But what I want to do first is I want to show you guys a couple things. And to start, I'm gonna take off all of these indicators, and I'm just gonna show you the raw chart here. So this is Bitcoin on a weekly chart, and this goes all the way back 2014 and stuff. And this is on logarithmic, and it's on auto. So basically what you can see here is this huge swooping sweep that we have up, and there's been a lot more analysis lately that I have seen of people showing charts like this and their predictions of exactly where we might be headed. If we continue the trend here, you see that all the way back here we had this long sweeping impulse all the way up, and that was back in in 2013. We did something similar in 2014 once we got up to this point, and we had this retrace, and we've just been really just climbing steadily uphill ever since. So if you take a closer look at exactly where we are now, you can see that from our very top of our all-time high up here, near $20,000, we have not retraced very much at all from our top. Technically, our next support in terms of a weekly chart, a big overview, it would be down here at around $4,500, and then around $3,000. So, but overall, considering where we've come from, that's really not that large of a retrace. This would have a major effect on altcoins if we did come down that far, and I'll get into an explanation further in depth about that later. But right now, basically where we are is we've got this weekly candle close here that we just had yesterday, and it is a major bearish engulfing candle. It engulfed the past 3 green candles that we had, and we were super bullish starting from down here where we had our first higher low. major bull hammer, and then we had this kind of spinning top here. But we had a lot of volume at that point, and we kept going up. So what everyone was hoping for, of course, was that this was going to be an end to the bear market, and that we were already fully corrected because we saw this higher low here, and we were going to continue upwards. Unfortunately, that did not happen. We saw this huge retrace here, and now we're starting a new weekly candle over here, which is just barely getting started. So let's go down and zoom in a little bit more. This is our daily chart. So coming down from the top here, everyone knows about everything that's been going on with this. It's been charted a million times. I do have, on my other trading view, I do have a master Elliott wave count for those of you that are interested in that. I post charts on that also about once a week or so, and I need to update and redo that count on this new trading view account that I do have. I got rid of my other one. Anyway, so getting into what's been going on here, we've just kind of have these big humps of correction, and what I'd really like to show you guys real quickly is how this involves algo traders and exactly what it means for us going forward. So if you let's see, if you start back here and you take our last high to our last bottom using the Fibonacci retracement tool, you see that we just barely were able to get into this golden zone here. So if you step back and you do this now to our next previous swing high to swing low, what you see is this time is that we hit it right on the nose and got rejected. We bounced around in here for a little bit during a pullback, and support didn't hold. We fell down. Everyone knew, everyone's very familiar with this downtrend. We had a lot of pain, a lot of lost trades, lots of shorts. Basically the same thing that we're going through right now. Another thing that I want to point your attention to is if you go back further, I believe it's from this candle down. No, it is the first one. Here we go, up here, because this is higher, I think. Yeah, this is higher. So again, another previous high, another previous low for the swing, and again we hit our golden zone exactly in the 618 to 6.5 area. So this is a very, very important, and you can go back and do this. This was another very popular algo target. If you go back and do it again, this is where we were fighting for a little bit when we were first retracing from our very, very tippy top. And these have been really big algo targets for everything that's been going on. If I leave these lines on and scroll back over here, actually, let me just do the most recent one real quick. I'll redraw this from swing low to swing high where we were. So this has been this level that we have been trying to break through now that we've had this massive dump. So we came down 786 support. It looks like it did hold. However, there is a lot of bearish, excuse me, lots of bearish pressure here. You can tell by these wicks. We have a major bearish inverted hammer, another inverted hammer that we're working on right now. And what we really need to do is start testing this resistance up here at 6,400. This has been a major area of fighting. If you look back left, look at what's happened before. This has always been a major area of resistance to break through, and unfortunately, when there's so many shorts going on in the market, it really just suppresses the price. There's a lot of whales on BitMEX that are suppressing the price. Lots of major hidden, shorts on Bitfinex, and all of these exchanges that have extremely high liquidity are really suppressing the price to keep it down. So if we zoom in a little further here, let me go ahead and get rid of this. Let's go ahead and zoom in further. Let's do a 4-hour chart. So obviously we had our first dump here, and what I'd like to point your attention to is my phone is going crazy. Let me turn that off. Okay. What I'd like to point your attention to is just a few candles that are leading up to this. And the reason why I'm not having any indicators on for any of this is because I really think that just going back and looking at just some of the candlestick formations that we've had going into this dump and going into previous tops and bottoms, I think are very important to understand, because it seems that it's overlooked a lot and that people are relying on indicators a little too heavily now. And if you look at this, well, what did we have? Okay, we had hammer, up. I almost want to call that a bearish hammer. We had a spinning top, that's indecisiveness. Another very small spin. I almost want to call that a star, but it looks more like a spinning top to me. And then we had a inverted hammer, another doji, and then bam, we fell off a cliff. We stopped here. We had a long leg doji. We fell off again. And then all down here has just been kind of testing supports and resistances in this little zone here between let's see, what is this? Between here about 65.50, and then another one down here at about 6,100 or so. So we've been basically stuck in this big zone again, like we have been plenty of times before. This has been another really big zone here, where we're actually battling right now about 6,300. And what's been going on is just really, really strong indecisiveness in the market. So if I was long here, which I think at some point I was, but I actually ended up exiting over here somewhere when I saw this upside down hammer. However, if I would have stayed in, I would have made maybe another 7 or 10% maybe off of that. But had I gotten up here, this would have been a huge telltale sign that the market was about to turn the corner. Dojis are always telltale signs that you're about to reach a top. This spinning top, that represents that you need another candle for confirmation. This was not confirmation. This was an upside down hammer. This is where I would have exited. And if you go ahead and you look at these indicators down here, I have a Stoch indicator down here. And right at this candle, actually just a couple back, that's exactly where the Stoch had crossed, right on this little spinning top that we had here. That would have been a great exit. If you would have stayed in a little longer, that would have been your final warning that these had already crossed, and then you would have came down. See how that works? When I exited, I think it was somewhere around here. Where was it? Yeah, I think it was this top. I had seen this inverted hammer, and these lines had already crossed, being overbought, and that's where I exited. Sure enough, we dumped down. I would have only lost about 7% off of that trade, but I entered somewhere down here. Anyway, so getting into the hourly chart here, what we've been seeing is more of these BART heads, as they're called on Twitter. This is usually just caused by longs and shorts getting liquidated. When longs liquidate, they have to sell, so you get a big sweeping push down. And when shorts get liquidated, you get a big sweeping push up, because in order to close the orders, they have to buy. So that's what's been going on with this, but it's really been messing with the RSI up here, and we're just kind of sitting right in the middle, which so far, if you keep looking left, has been kind of a dangerous area for Bitcoin to be sitting in terms of RSI. Right now, the Stoch has crossed on the lower time frame, and we're looking a little bullish on this. However, it crossed and we're right in the middle. We didn't get a cross down here in the oversold zone, which would indicate a larger uptrend. I personally do not trade these. I normally like to trade like this crossed at the bottom. I would have traded this. However, I was on vacation when that happened. I've also been sick the past couple days. I was on just gotten back from a family vacation with my friends just right before this had dumped, and luckily I wasn't in a position for this. However, if I was going short, and I would have shorted right here when these lines crossed, that would have been a great profit, especially on 5 or 10x leverage there. But looking back, when you take a look at the RSI, sitting here in the middle has always been kind of an issue for us. We sat here in the middle, we dumped. We climbed back up, we sat in the middle, we dumped. You know, we came back up and then we've been sitting in the middle, and I honestly would expect this to dump again. So if we zoom back out and we go on a higher time frame here, let's go back to like the day chart. Everybody's been drawing these sweeping channels of, you know, basically where we're going. And in terms of Elliott wave theory, you know, we've got a, let me get a line tool. We've got this big channel here, this big wedge, you know, that we've just been stuck in for a long time. And to be honest, in most major markets, this is not a very long time at all. It's actually a very short amount of time. All things considered equal, this is not a very long time to be in an extended falling wedge or long sideways correction like this. When this type of thing happens in the Dow Jones Industrial and you're in a long sideways wedge or extended sideways correction like this in terms of Elliott, you're talking multiple years, sometimes a decade. I think the last really long one was took place between 1946 and 1963 or something. I'll have to double check on that, but we've been in this really long correction here. And what I had and what my Elliott count is, originally I had this as an extended ABCDE correction, and I found that being able to accurately chart that, there's just real no good way that count can be satisfied. So I actually recounted it, and I believe that this is a 1 2 3 4 and then 5 correction. We're going to have a 5 down here, so this would have been our wave 1 2 you know, 3 4. I just did that wrong. I haven't redone any of my tools on TradingView yet, so all of my lines are still showing up. I'm kind of doing this on the fly here. This would have been 1 2 3, and then, you know, this would be a 4 down here. You know, we're looking for a 5, but I mean, basically you've got this massive downward correction here bouncing around in this channel. And what I'm really predicting is that I think that we will be going down to test new lows. And the reason why I think this is because we've been stuck in this channel for so long. And if you take a look at the volume here, we're really at a loss. We kind of missed our opportunity. I think our last real big opportunity to kind of reverse this was back here in July, when we had a real big opportunity and a lot of bigger volume to kind of break through here, and we ended up getting rejected. We did have another opportunity here. However, you see the difference in volume between this level and this level down at 7,100, and once we got down to that, we just lost all support and started falling down. There was way more sell pressure than buy pressure here, and we're still in a zone where there's a lot more sell pressure than there is to be buying. So in terms of market psychology that I wanted to get into real quick, I personally believe that the reason why this is happening is the market is being so heavily manipulated now because there's so many ICOs and small coins, both small and large cap coins, that got major funding in early excuse me, in 2017 and stuff, that were just really starting, and they got a lot of funding for all of these projects. And what ended up happening is most of these projects and initial coin offerings were either fraudulent, or they never really had any finished product or reliable white paper or you know, marketing, actual you know, stuff to really get out there that showed their investors that, you know, the company was worth it, and that they're working on all these plans that they say that they have. And I think what's happening right now is the market is being suppressed so much, and there's so much pressure because of this on all of the altcoins, that only the good solid projects are going to last. Only the good solid projects are going to be lasting through this. Everything else is I think it's what's trying to happen here is the market's being manipulated and held down so that all of these fraudulent ICOs and projects that are just not worth anything, that are never going to succeed, end up getting delisted from the exchanges. I don't think that these drop-offs have very much to do with the ETFs being approved. For instance, back here, this is when we were, I think, waiting for the first ETF. It was somewhere around here, and the ETFs ended up getting denied, and we did the opposite. We ended up going up. Normally the market would dump because of that. This is not because of any news. I highly doubt that it's because of any ETFs, especially considering we went up when the ETFs were denied the first time. So that's where I kind of stand on Bitcoin right now in terms of where we might be headed. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of the Fibonacci retracement tool. It's extremely handy. I'll be doing a tutorial on exactly how to use this later on. Best way to draw it real quick, though, is you always go from left to right, whether it's swing high or swing low, from the very top to the very bottom, or vice versa, wherever you're coming from. So from swing low to swing high, this is really our support level right now, and surprise, surprise, this is that same 64, 6,300 area that we've been, always struggling to hold here. Lots and lots of sell pressure here. People just really want to see this market, come down. And if you draw one from our most current top to bottom on this big dump that we've had now, I personally would, this would be our target per se, to come back up here and be testing 7,000 again, which would be very nice. However, we stand a chance of really correcting pretty far down. On the bigger trend, you basically have a very large ABC going into a WXY correction. It's basically a 333 correction here, and I really put my target down here. This is very popular algo target, as you can see from before. When I did all of the waves here with the Fibonacci retracement tool, they've hit their targets every single time on the tops and the bottoms. Every single time they hit that golden zone. So if we do continue that trend, we're looking at bottoms down here as far as 5,300. This would be our next stop. If support here does not hold at 6,100, we're looking at going down to 58, which I've been calling now for since before this uptrend even really started. I've been calling for a completion of the C wave and the C wave within wave 5 of the larger downward falling wedge that we've been having for weeks. I'll go ahead and update my official, Bitcoin Elliott wave count, and I'll post that on later today in the Discord, as well on Twitter, for everybody. And this would really be our next stop after that. There's not really too much overall support down here at 56. We had a very brief level of support here. So I see us going down, potentially pretty deep. If this support, down here at, 58, 53 in here doesn't hold and we end up bouncing back. I'll go ahead and I'm going to map all of this out later today on a chart for everybody with the official Elliott wave count that I have. And we'll go ahead and take a look at all that stuff later. But I would love to be really bullish on Bitcoin, but unfortunately for right now, with as far as we've corrected, which really from the main trend has not been that far, looking back, on this big week chart here, I would love to be really bullish, but unfortunately that's just not the way that it's looking so far, especially when you've got really deep levels of support that we just haven't even begun to test yet. We've got our support here, and then if you look, we've got another one here, and beyond that, it's we're looking really low into the 3,000. And I actually haven't done this yet. What would this look like? Swing low to swing high. Wow. And again, floating around right here in the golden zone for the main trend. That's incredible. So we'll see what happens. Actually, look at this support line. That almost lines exactly up with the 786 if we were to correct. So I'm going to do some more in-depth analysis on this in terms of charts. If you're a part of our Discord group or also on Twitter, Crypto Cactus as well as Crypto Fonz, they're constantly releasing daily updates on Bitcoin charts. They are members of our group. They do a wonderful job. So definitely give them a follow on Twitter if you get a chance. If you're interested in joining our Discord group for more information like this and the videos that I'm going to have on the indicators that I have, this isn't the one that I have set up for the scalping, but if I was, then we'd be right down here on about a 15-minute chart, and I go through and explain the other indicators that I have for that and how to use them and how they work and what settings they are and things like that. So thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you guys very much. Don't forget to follow me as well as Honestly Crypto on Twitter and give at TCP Media some love. Our magazine, like I said, is going to be coming out on September 15th, and if you need any information about joining, my DMs are always open. You can either DM me, Honestly Crypto, or you can visit our website at tcpmedia.org directly for more information on that. As I'm speaking, we're getting some, looks like we might be getting some short liquidation here. We just had this little spike in price on the 15-minute chart. This right here, this would be where I scalp that to go back down. See how we're coming up here? This is also going to be part of the live trading stuff that I'm going to be doing. So more information on that later. I hope everybody has a safe day. If you are trading right now with this uncertainty that we're having in the market, please set a tight stop loss and employ good risk management skills. I have an article in this month's edition where I talk about risk management and stop losses specifically for that. So catch an eye out for that, and I will see all of you guys later. Thank you all very much for watching, and happy trading.